Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing blue, and he officially weighs 175 pounds. In his professional career, he has 21 victories, including 17 knockouts, with only 2 defeats. He comes to this ring tonight looking for revenge and redemption to prove to the world that he is not just one of the 2 best, but that he is the very best light heavyweight in the world today. From Orlando, Florida, the #1 ranked contender and former light heavyweight champion of the world, Antonio Magic Man Tarver. And across the ring, fighting out of the red corner, wearing gray, his official weight, 174 pounds. In 1998, he was voted that Olympics' most outstanding boxer, and now, as a professional, his record stands at 49 victories, including 38 knockouts, with only 1 defeat, which was disqualification and reversed by a first-round KO in rematch. He is universally recognized as, pound for pound, the greatest fighter over the past decade. Tonight, we turn the page to another chapter of the saga of a boxing superstar. From Pensacola, Florida, presenting the former middleweight world champion, former super middleweight world champion, former heavyweight world champion, the reigning, defending, 3-time light heavyweight champion of the world, Roy Jones Jr.
Buddy, you don't have to have it, so make sure you have it.
Okay, baby.
All right, you guys, I gave you instructions from the dressing room. Do you have any questions?
I got a question. You got any excuses tonight, Roy?
Let's not ask questions like that. Let's touch the gloves and go to work.
Tonight, Roy.
Let's go to work.
Antonio Tarver wants to correct the scoring of the first fight. Roy Jones, in effect, wants to avenge a victory that was too close for his comfort. Let the fisticuffs begin.
They don't want to wait for the bell. Emmanuel, you seen that before?
I love it. No, I've never saw it, but I would like to see it more often.
Never seen it. I got a question. You got any excuses tonight, Roy? What a start.
Oh, he's very, very confident.
One thing Jones told us in a meeting yesterday, he said, you know, you never saw Tarver with his back to the ropes last November. That was because I was too tired. He said, tomorrow night, I'll put Tarver against the ropes.
And one of his most effective punches sometimes is that counter jab of Roy's. Whenever a southpaw jabs, he likes to counter it real quick by slipping and then shooting his own jab very fast.
Now, they feint and face each other and feint again, and the crowd already rested, wonders what's going on. But Larry, what's really happening here is that you have 2 natural counterpunchers against each other,
That's right. And Roy Jones is taking a more positive, aggressive stance, but he's not throwing any punches yet. Neither is Tarver.
Neither man wants to go first. Finally, Tarver leads.
After about a minute, we see a punch.
Yes, both of these guys are really technical fighters anyway by nature, so this is only normal for them to fight this way.
You have to remember that what made the first fight dramatic was the jeopardy that Jones was in. A lot of it was this kind of posturing and looking for position.
And up until the times that Roy would actually go to the ropes, a lot of the first fight was this way, until Jones would go to the ropes and say, come on and throw your punches, Antonio.
And there were boos in the house during the first fight from time to time. And already Jones is much more active and much more effective in round 1. That was the case on November 8th, when he seemed totally out of it those first 2 rounds.
And trying to keep the fight right in the middle of the ring where he has an advantage.
Straight right hand upstairs, straight right hand to the body. The straight right hand won the fight for Jones in November. because he needed to win it that way, pecking to the body over and over with the right hand.
But Roy's not going to the ropes at all so far in this fight. And I don't think he's going to be on the ropes hardly at all, particularly early in the fight. If it does, it'll be late on.
Well, if he has the stamina to stay on his feet and move, he'll do it.
Now they're fighting in the center of the ring, and his hand speed and foot speed is being a problem for Tarver to deal with.
Because at this weight, there's never been hand speed and foot speed like Roy Jones.
Whoa!
Tarver hadn't gotten off really, and Jones is landing his right hand. So even though much of the first round was a phony war, posing and staring and looking, Jones has scored enough.
He's scored enough to win the round, possibly, but he hasn't really been able to penetrate or find a style yet that can penetrate through Tarver effectively.
Tarver lands a right hand.
Good right jab.
And another Tarver jab, and Jones answers with a hard right hand to the body as round one comes to a close.
All right, baby. That's what I want. Just keep the control. Keep the control. Put it in the middle. Keep the control. Keep your fights going. Keep your fights going. Okay? Yep. This joke ain't coming to you. Let's keep him going back.
Only round one. Let's get that jab working now. Okay, let's get the jab going.
Too much respect.
Okay? Don't give him that much respect.
Baby.
Okay, when he's backing you up, stay low.
Stop using that word, respect me.
Okay, okay, baby. So you know what you do?
Respect
then let's go out there and get yours.
Come on.
Then go get yours, baby. Okay? Let's go get yours. Okay? Same as the last fight. Ain't nothing different. Okay? He's just trying to bully you. Okay? We ain't here for that. Okay, baby? Stay low. Keep that jab working now.
Jones's good friend Derek Smoke Gaynor is seated in round two. Between rounds, after listening to Alton Murkerson, Jones nearly craned his head all the way out between the ropes to listen to whatever it was Gaynor had to say.
So evidently he has a lot of respect for Gaynor. It's interesting, Murkerson has been with Roy throughout his entire career, and that's really rare today. It means about going on those 16 years almost.
Well, Roy Jones has been very loyal to people who work for him and to his friends.
He's a good man, and he's helped a lot of boxers down there in his town. And in addition, he's one of the few guys that continually contributes a lot to helping Joe McClellan.
He's been the chief benefactor to McClellan, who has been in distress ever since his 1995 fight with Nigel Benn. Of course, McClellan and Jones were rivals in the amateurs and might have fought each other as professionals.
Yeah, you know what? It's still interesting that even though he knew that he may fight Joe, when Joe would fight a lot of fights, he would actually come to the fights early in Joe's career and support and even worked in the corner with him one time.
Now in round two, very much the same kind of action that you saw toward the end of round one. Tarver stalking now more aggressively, more concertedly, and seemingly accepting the role of the leader in the counterpuncher's war. And there's a hard left hand by Antonio Tarver. Jones tries to come back with a right to the body and a right upstairs and another right to the middle of the belly.
You know, it's interesting. I'm watching Tarver. He seems to still be giving Roy problems. Roy has not found a way still to get a sustained attack against him.
And down goes Jones on a hard left hand, and that is the most that Roy Jones has ever been hurt. Only Lou DeVal ever knocked him down. Jones may not get up, and he makes it up. It's over. Jay Nady stops the fight, and Jones is still on Queer Street, and that's amazing. What a statement by Antonio Tarver. One big left hand shot.
He said, what excuses do you have tonight, Roy? No excuses.
And now there's a fight breaking out in the ring. There's a fight between supporters in the ring, and our cameraman, Gordy Sager's gone down.
Jim.
The action has been quelled in the ring. I'm not really sure what was going on, but I know that Gordy Sager, our cameraman, went down and appears to be okay.
Alton Murkerson said Roy Jones has gotten old, and you could see it because he was throwing one punch at a time, and he was measured by Tarver.
And he never found a way to really get through to Tarver. And Tarver just patiently took his head and really straightened up.
That is the first time in his career he's really been hurt. He's gone down before one time, but there was a perfect left hand. Roy never saw it coming. Roy is out. and Roy may be out of boxing.
And that's why Tarver wanted to be the counterpuncher, because he answered Roy's right hand with a perfect left-hand shot that knocked Jones out. There it was. One previous knockdown against Lou Duval, that was a flash in Madison Square Garden in New York. This is the first time Roy Jones has been hammered by a power punch, and it's cost him a fight.
In 2 fights now, we have to say that Tarver has bested Roy Jones.
Unquestionably. There's the answer. You know, Jones was still a heavy favorite in this fight, despite everything that happened last November. Here's his valiant effort to get up, but when he managed to get to his feet, at 9, I believe, Emmanuel, he was still wobbling.
If he'd have got on up and they let the fight continue, he would have been seriously
You know, and there's one other thing, Emmanuel. When a fighter has spent most of his career trying to avoid punches and never taking a lot of punches, when he gets nailed with a big punch, that's what can happen.
And this was very interesting. You know, this Tarver seems to have his number, and the punch he caught him with, it was very difficult to avoid that. Tarver had just been hit himself, and he got right on top of Roy and hit him with a short punch that Roy never even saw.
Right. You have to say that Antonio Tarver not only talks a good fight, he fought a good fight.
Absolutely, and here's Tarver's ultimate revenge. He won't have to worry about what the judges see in the fight tonight. They can go home just as Jones can go home, because Tarver sent everybody home with that big left hand. Antonio Tarver rules the light heavyweight division now. And of course, just as was the case throughout most of Jones's career, aside from Roy Jones, there isn't much significant big name opposition in the light heavyweight division, and suddenly now there will be speculation, Emmanuel, we'll talk about it later, there will surely be speculation about whether Tarver wants to go up and test his southpaw style as a heavyweight, because his height and his natural body style might give him the chance to do it. Let's go to Michael Buffer with the particulars on the knockout.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Jay Nady reaches the count of 10 at 1 minute, 41 seconds of round number 2. The winner by knockout victory, and once again, the light heavyweight champion of the world, Antonio Magic Man Tarver.
This is for the fallen soldiers, baby. I dedicated this fight to them. Bring our people home from Iraq, baby, so they can reunite with their family. Tampa, Florida, Orlando, Florida, we on the map. I love you all.
The man loves to talk, and right now he can talk all he wants.
Yes, he can.
He can talk for the next few months if he wants
I would tell him to shut up.
I'd like to listen, quite frankly, because this is going to be a great interview. This man is as exciting once he opens his mouth as anybody we've had in the sport. You made that point before the fight.
Yeah, I'd love to hear him talk. I mean, he makes a lot of sense, and he comes up with some good phrases.
Oh, and there's going to be a whole lot of I told you so.
Yeah.
And we at HBO might come into harm's way just a little bit, but that'll be fun too. Let's find out as we go to Larry Merchant with Antonio Tarver.
Yes. All right, thank you very much. A bit chaotic. Okay, fellas, please quiet a little bit so I can hear Antonio. Congratulations, Antonio. You said before the fight to Roy, no excuses this time. Did you see that he was vulnerable the way he was fighting you?
No, the man came out strong. He tried to dictate early, but I stayed confident, I stayed composed. And, you know, I knew it was a matter of time. When God is with you, can nothing be against you. And I knew it was my time. Judge that. Well, judge that, baby. Judge that.
Well, could you see that he was throwing one punch at a time? He really was trying to make you take the lead, and that he was open, or was it just a punch you threw that landed?
No, it was, you know, hey, knockouts happen in boxing. I was dressed down in defense. I saw everything coming, and I knew you know, when he came in and tried to get offensive, I was going to let my hands go. And I was in great shape thanks to Buddy McGirt. We worked real hard, and I never gave up on my dream. So here I am, Larry.
Obviously, this big crowd and all the people out there are shocked by what happened. Even you seem a little surprised the way it ended.
Larry, if you knew the steps I had to take to get here, it's just a jubilee. You know, I'm just happy, and I just know that God lives, and can't be denied. Can't be denied.
All right, let's take a look at the knockout, and you tell us what you saw and why you did what you did.
Right there, he missed. Perfectly timed. We both threw at the same time, and I just turned it over shorter than he did, and it caught him right on the kisser. That was a perfect punch. Perfect punch.
All right, we're going to take a look from another angle. Describe it again.
Okay, right there, he's trying to bait me, he's trying to feint. I missed my jab. But right here, I'm still in position, and I beat him to the punch with a strong overhand left. That was a beautiful, beautiful executed punch.
What does this night mean to you, Antonio?
It means everything to me, because for so long, people say I couldn't, people say I wouldn't, but I never gave up on my dream. I never gave up on myself. I knew that Antonio Tarver was the best fighter in the whole wide world. Pound for pound, baby. Pound for pound.
You said you were like, the two of you were like Siamese twins who grew up together. You parted, you came back together again. How would you describe those former Siamese twins now?
Well, you know what? We still stuck together, because this fight will go down in the history of boxing as an instant classic. This is Marvin Hagler Hearns all over again. And right now, I'm glad to be a part of that. Without the great Roy Jones, none of this would be possible. It takes a great fighter to beat a great fighter. And you're looking at a great fighter tonight, ladies and gentlemen.
All right, let's just take one brief look into the future, Antonio. Do you want to stay as a light heavyweight? Are you open to an invitation to fight one of the hundreds of heavyweight champions out there? What do you see, or is it just too soon to even think about it?
Right now, with a great victory like tonight, I'm going to bask in it, enjoy it as long as I can. But like I said, if the money is 6 feet 7 inches tall, I'm willing to fight anybody.
All right, well, you got laryngitis at last.
At last.
After talking for 6 months.
I'm finally at a loss for words, man.
We didn't think we'd see that in this lifetime.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'd like to thank Don King, the greatest promoter in the world, for believing in this fight and for believing in me.
All right,
thank you.
Thank you, thank you, Antonio. Congratulations. One word, Don. Is Antonio Tarver a candidate to fight for one of the heavyweight titles that you promote?
Yes, he is. He's a candidate for anything. Tonight he did a super thing. He beat Superman. He certainly showed that he's a great, great fighter. This was a shock and amazement of the world, as Muhammad Ali would say, and we're just delighted that Antonio Tarver came in and made this fight what it can be. It was a great cash out all the way through. And all of my heavyweight champions are ready to fight anybody. Vitaly Klitschko is the top of the list for Layman Brewster, for John Ruiz, or for Chris Bird. And now we got a new one in there with this young man here who just shocked the world tonight on HBO PPV. There's Tarver, Antonio Tarver.
Thank you very much, Don. Jim?
Here's one of the great elements of this story. Ever since Olympic coaches soured on Antonio Tarver in Atlanta in 1996, he has been subjected to a backroom, behind-the-back, insidious campaign during which he has received the worst insult that can ever be hurled at an athlete. Over and over and over, all of us in the sport have heard people say, Antonio Tarver has no heart. It's such a rubric that it was almost a given, an article of faith. Well, they'll never be able to say it again. No one should ever utter, after what he did 6 months ago, after what he did tonight, that Antonio Tarver has no heart. That is disproven forever. Here's another fighter with heart. Let's see how he responds to his worst moment. Larry Merchant with Roy Jones.
Thank you, Jim. Roy, there's a first time for everything.
You know how that goes, Larry. There's no excuses on my part. I come out, I do what I do. You know, I've had an illustrious career. I've enjoyed what I've done. You know, and guys always are up to fight Roy Jones Jr. Roy Jones Jr. has a hard time getting up to fight guys. You know what I mean? Because it's really nobody out there that Roy Jones Jr. really feel that way about. So, you know, it happens.
But you have to feel that in terms of preparation, You gave your best.
Yeah, I did.
And
I gave it what I had, you know, and I got myself best prepared that I could, you know, under the situation. I'm not making no excuses, and you know, it happens like that sometimes.
do you think that you're trying to stay in the middle of the ring and take control of the fight in some way, left you open?
I'm not really shy to look at it and see again. The main thing is that, you know, I'm a warrior. I'm gonna fight. So, you know, if even when I don't feel well, I don't feel good about certain things, I'm still gonna fight. So I'm always gonna go down and fight. And I thank God for blessing me, giving me the opportunity to come out and do what I do.
Are you suggesting there is something wrong with you coming in tonight?
No, I'm not saying. I'm just saying, Roy Jones Jr. gonna fight regardless. He don't care. You know what I'm from? So
What did you two say to each other after the fight?
I said, good fight, good shot. That's all I can say.
All right, we'd like you to take a look, your second look at it, but this time you may get a different view of what happened.
All right. I threw a right hand, and he came up, and I backed out, and he threw an overhand right off of my right hand. I tried to throw a hook, and he threw an overhand, and it was a good shot. Very good shot.
Has anything like this ever happened to you before, anywhere, anytime?
Yeah, I've been knocked down as an amateur once. Something similar to that happened to me, and you know, it happens to the best of us.
What does this mean for the rest of your career? Do you want to fight Tarver again? Do you want to go back to the heavyweight division, or is it over?
I could fight Tarver again. I could go back to the heavyweight division. Actually, fighting somebody like Tarver is not really of interest to me, because that's why I don't get motivated for these type of fights. The heavyweight fights were the better ones, were the funner ones, and then I let myself come down to try to, you know, do this for the people, for the fans, and I should have left it alone. But I did it, and you know, the guy won a good fight. I have no excuse. I thank God for blessing me, giving me the opportunity to come out and do what I do. I did. I gave him my all under the circumstance that I could, and that was that.
So you're suggesting that when you come back, you're not going to go out on this kind of a defeat, and you'll come back as a heavyweight?
No, I ain't said nothing. Yeah, I ain't said what I might do. You know, I ain't sure if I'm gonna go out. I'm gonna stay the same. I ain't sure what I'm gonna do yet. If I don't have no more interest in it than I do now, then it's best for me to stop.
You've accomplished everything you've ever wanted to accomplish in boxing.
Exactly.
And these fights are just icing on your big cake.
Basically, you know what I mean? It's like, for me, I have no real enjoyment in doing nothing like this. I would rather fight the heavyweights. When you fight a guy like this, it's like, what you fighting for? What you doing it for?
Thank you again, Roy Jones.